Here are some traps that veterans need to avoid when they're looking at using their VA loan in 2026. Oftentimes, I deal with veterans day in and day out that tell me the same thing. Oh, the VA said this, the VA denied me because of that. I didn't have this squared away. You all have the same rates. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to debunk some of these myths so you can make the best financial decision for you and your family. First and foremost, the VA has nothing to do with home loans. Now, this may catch some people off guard, but if you're looking in the news right now, America's biggest VA home lender is being accused of this as deceptively presenting themselves as the VA. So why is this really important to know? When you're looking at using your VA loan, the VA has nothing directly to do with your home loan. They don't issue loans, they don't underwrite loans, they don't approve loans, and they don't service the loan, okay? So this is really important to know. If you've been told that you were denied by the VA or you spoke to the VA has nothing to do with this. A big thing that I see veterans run into, everyone has the same interest rates because the VA sets interest rates. I don't know who made this rumor, but it's absolutely not true. The VA has nothing to do with interest rates that are available to you. What happens is lenders will have different rates available. So Navy Fed will not have the same interest rate as Veterans United, same as USAA, same as what I can offer. We all have different rates, so it's really important to know what rate are you getting, and on top of that, what fees are they charging you for that rate. This is where lenders really try to pull the wool over you and not be honest with you. They won't tell you what's their origination fees, what's their processing fee, what's their underwriting fee, what are they charging you in discount points for your rate. A lot of people see low rate and they think that means lowest fees. That's absolutely not true. Lenders will charge you money for the lowest rate. The lowest rate typically comes with the catch. This is where a lot of veterans get taken advantage of, and this is where you need to be concerned about and pay attention to. You're probably wondering, well, Zach, how do I find out what they're charging me? Well, this is where you request a loan estimate or a loan summary or a fee sheet. There's a lot of different terms for it, so I'm going to say that again. You request a loan estimate, a loan summary, or a fee sheet. If they're not willing to give you one of those three, whatever, it's all the same thing, just a different term, you need to find a different lender. You need someone who's going to be honest with you, who's going to be upfront with you, who's going to show you what they're charging you for your loan. Because again, like I said, we're not all the same. We don't all have the same sets of fees, right? Origination fees, as we call them. And this is where a lot of lenders will try to deceive you. They'll have you look at the shiny object, which is a low interest rate, but they'll hide the fees right here that you don't know. Because what happens is when you get your initial disclosures, when you go under contract on a home, it's 100 and some pages of documents that you skim through, and you often don't notice what they're actually charging you. So again, how do you see what they're charging you? Loan estimate, loan summary, or a fee sheet. These are all important documents to know what you're actually getting yourself into. Another thing that you want to understand when it comes to buying a home is VA loan is a great program. It is 0% down, but it is not a free loan. This is where a lot of veterans get hemmed up. They hear 0% down. They think that's the only cost associated with it. They think it's a free loan. When you're using your VA loan, I really like to view it as like buying a vehicle, right? We have the same kind of fees. We have our taxes, we have our title, we have our insurance, and I'll say a dealer fee, comparing that to a car, as a lender fee, right? So these are the fees that you need to be aware of. Your closing costs, as we call them, again, can include lender fees, tax, title, and insurance. The big things are when it comes to title, taxes, and insurance, those aren't controlled by the lender. The only thing a lender can control is their lender fees. Title fees are going to be determined by the title company, depending on where you're at. It may be a closing attorney or an escrow company, depending on where you're at. Your homeowner's insurance, we don't pick your homeowner's insurance for you as mortgage professionals. You'll go out when you get under contract on a home and you'll shop around for different insurance quotes, whether that's through USAA, through Geico, Allstate, whatever the case may be. You'll pick your insurance provider, and that will be factored into your closing costs. So these are things that veterans often don't know about, and they get surprised on when they're ready to buy a home. I know I was guilty of it when they were like, hey, you have closing costs. I was like, I got 0% down. And I didn't understand what closing costs really were. So closing costs are your responsibility as a veteran unless, and this is how I bought both my homes, through seller concessions. Seller concessions is just a fancy word for a seller credit. You can have your realtor, and this is why it's really important to get partnered up with a trusted real estate professional that understands the VA loans and also knows how to negotiate for you. Fun fact of the day, the average realtor, 71% didn't even sell one home. 71% did not sell one home in 2025. So just because you know your Bob's uncle's cousin, whatever, you don't want to go through them for your real estate needs because they may not be in the business. They may just do one transaction every few years, and that's not somebody you want representing you. And I'm not here to knock family members, whoever you may think may be the best fit, but you want a true professional when it comes to buying the biggest purchase of your life, which is a home. You want somebody who knows the market, understands VA loans, and is gonna negotiate for you. Again, this is how I bought both my homes, through seller concessions. I found a really good realtor. They were able to negotiate for the seller to cover my closing cost. Now, with that being said, what fees did I still have to worry about? There's earnest money. I like to view earnest money as a security deposit. If you've ever gotten an apartment before, it's very similar to that, except it's not a fee. Earnest money is not a fee paid towards the seller or to the lender or to the builder, right? That is money that you're putting up saying, hey, I'm moving forward in good faith. I want to put this deposit down on your home, because if you back out at the very end just because you get cold feet, that is when they can keep the money, right? Because you violated the terms of your contract. But let's say you're under contract, you have a home inspection, and there's a big deficiency with the home. Maybe the foundation's messed up. You can pull out of the contract and get your earnest money back. But typically, let's say the sellers don't cover your closing costs whatsoever, that earnest money deposit will be applied to your closing costs. It will be subtracted from your total closing costs. So it's used in part of the transaction. Again, that's not a fee paid to the seller, to the lender, to the builder, whatever the case may be. That money's put in the pot and used in some way, shape, or form. Now, what I personally was able to do is I had the sellers pay all of my closing costs, every single little penny, and I got my earnest money back, which was fantastic. But that homeowner's inspection, like I mentioned, the homeowner inspection is getting into the nitty gritty of the home. That typically is an out-of-pocket expense unless someone is willing to cover that for you. It's very minimal though, a couple $100, and that will tell you, are you walking into a money pit of a home, or are you walking into a home with good bones? So these are some of the fees that you as a veteran need to be aware of in 2026. There's also a few more that I'll disclose later in another video. So if you like this information, please hit subscribe. Follow as I continue to educate the veteran community on information I wish we would have got in when we were in.